Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're breaking down a really important constitutional amendment that's showing up on the Tennessee ballot. It's called Senate Joint Resolution 9, and it's being presented as a Bill of Rights for crime victims. But is that the whole story? Let's find out.
Okay, so on the surface, the promise here sounds simple, right? It's deeply compassionate. It's all about making sure victims have a voice in the justice system and are treated with dignity. I mean, who could possibly argue with that?
But what if this amendment isn't just about compassion? What if it's actually part of a much larger national strategy? One with some pretty profound and, frankly, hidden consequences for Tennessee's entire justice system.
Yeah, so the story of SJR 9, it didn't just start in Tennessee. It's actually the local version of a national campaign called Marcy's Law. And that's where we start to see this as part of a much bigger, more complex picture.
Now, this is not some grassroots movement that just bubbled up from the community. It's really more like a political franchise. You know, like a fast food chain, but for legislation. They have a model bill, and they're just pushing it in states all across the country.
And get this, it's funded almost entirely by just one person, a California tech billionaire who has poured over $100 million into getting these amendments passed nationwide. I mean, that is just a staggering amount of money for a single-issue campaign.
So here you can see the machinery behind it all. You've got one source of funding pushing identical, cookie-cutter legislation. They use coordinated messaging, often stirring up moral panic narratives on local news, all designed to reshape state constitutions from the outside.
Okay, so SJR 9 does a lot more than just give victims a voice. The really crucial thing to understand is that it fundamentally restructures the entire legal process itself. And this right here illustrates the change perfectly. For centuries, the American justice system has been a contest between two parties, the state and the defendant. SJR 9 injects a third party, the victim, right into the middle of that fight, with their own independent constitutional standing. This effectively privatizes part of what the prosecutor does, giving victims new power to intervene in things like bail hearings and plea deals. And as you can imagine, this creates a ton of built-in conflicts with the defendant's due process rights. For instance, a defendant has a right to investigate their case, but that can now crash right into a victim's new constitutional right to refuse interviews, making it way harder to actually mount a defense.
So beyond the chaos in the courtroom, SJR 9 also comes with this massive hidden price tag. It creates a whole bunch of unfunded mandates that, you guessed it, fall squarely on local taxpayers.
You see, the amendment requires victims be notified at every single stage of the legal process, from arraignment all the way to parole hearings. This creates a bureaucratic nightmare that requires expensive new software and more staff, all of which has to be paid for by county governments, not by the state.
Now, as court dockets get bogged down and slow down, people end up waiting for their trial in jail for much longer. And for these pretrial detainees, the state pays $0, nothing. That means 100% of these rising costs are shifted to local counties. And of course, this also means more profits for private companies that run jail services, like phone providers and commissary operators.
But believe it or not, the most critical consequence of all is buried in a single, undefined word. He creates this powerful loophole that ends up benefiting the very people who are supposed to be held accountable.
So the amendment gives all these powerful new rights to victims, but the text itself is dangerously ambiguous about who exactly qualifies.
And here it is. This is the big reveal. In other states that have passed this exact same law, police officers involved in shootings have successfully claimed victim status, arguing they were assaulted by the person they shot.
This lets them use Marcy's Law as a constitutional shield to keep their names secret after a shooting. It guts public records laws and makes police accountability nearly impossible. It's basically a get-out-of-jail-free card for police misconduct, and it would be written directly into the state constitution.
So when you start to peel back all these layers of SJR 9, you find that it's not really just about helping victims.
It's a well-funded national operation designed to restructure our courts, burden our local taxpayers, and dramatically reduce transparency and accountability.
The language of compassion? Well, that's just the sales pitch. That's how they sell the amendment to voters.
But when you peel back that label, you find that the real product, the thing you're actually getting, is a massive expansion of state authority and a huge reduction in public oversight. So it's a question every voter should be asking. When compassion is on the ballot, who really pays the price? It's a question worth thinking about before casting a vote that will be written into the state constitution permanently.